Well, Mick, I suspect that football was part of your daily diet as a kid, being brought up in Liverpool.
Yeah, I remember I used to go and watch me father play, you know. He played for an amateur team, you know, in Liverpool. He used to take me and my brother there and used to kick in at half-time and that, you know. And more or less just been brought up on football.
What affiliation were you, Liverpool or Everton?
Well, I had an uncle who supported Everton, and as a baby, you know, I used to go around, he used to drum it into me about Everton, but I think when I learnt my sense, I think Liverpool took over. Round about the Keegan Toshak days, you know, I went to see them and watched them play.
Yeah, I was going to ask who were your schoolboy idols?
Yeah, I would say at the time, Keegan Toshak, great strikers, Dalglish, you know. Even now, Dalglish, really, you know, right from watching them, you know.
Did you learn anything from those players, or was it not something that was conscious?
No, I think you try to, I mean, when you're a kid you try to imitate them in a way, you know, but when it comes to actual games, you know, it's hard to imitate. Well, you know, you're not the same build as them, you're not the same size as them, you don't really play like them, you know. It's, I say, messing about with your mates, you know, you'd imitate them, but no, I just enjoyed watching them, and they're good pros, all of them, and they scored goals.
Where did you mess about with your mates when you were kicking the ball around? Was it in the streets or in
the streets? Yeah, I remember, you know, my dad used to get us out just on the street kicking the ball against the wall, you know, tennis ball and that, just try and get me sort of weak foot going, you know, which is my left, and just hitting against the tennis ball, getting the strength to build it up, you know. And we used to play anywhere really, on concrete or, you know, anywhere we could get a game in. It didn't please the neighbours, like, but
you know, the days of the tennis ball seem to have gone, don't they? And it was such an important factor in developing players, I think.
I think a lot of lads around my age or older, you know, they went through similar things. I think now there's so many things for kids to do, you know, by playing football, you know, there's snooker facilities for them to go to and computer games to play, and you know, it's sad in a way really, because England is where Great Britain, the place of football, you know, and as I say, from now kids are looking in other ways and other sports.
Yeah, it's a worldwide problem, it's not just here, in fact. Now then, were you a striker in those early days? Were you destined to be a striker?
Funny enough, just to get in our local junior team, it was a housing estate where we lived, and they had the streets were obviously teams, you know. So to get in the street team, they had no goalkeeper at the time, and the age was, I think it was 8 or 9 to get into the team. I was only 7 at the time, so I lied about my age and went in goal. We started off in goal. They soon found out I was no good, and played me up front after that, and I've been a striker ever since.
And you banged in the goals then, did you?
Yes, I remember, you know, I mean, with them only being street teams, and there's 15 teams in the league, you know, you had a really good team, and you had a terrible team, you know. We used to win 26-0, you know, we used to be scoring 8s and 9s and that, you know. The competition wasn't very stiff, but we enjoyed banging them in.
Any other professional players emerged from that
yes,
era?
there was a few actually. David Fairclough, who played for Liverpool, a lad named Ian Bishop, who's played Manchester, he's at West Ham now. Quite a few lads that went to Liverpool and just didn't make the grade. I think they went as a one-year pro. I think there's half a dozen of them actually, and they just went on from Liverpool to amateur status, you know. But it was a good breeding ground for kids to come through. I think there's a couple of others, but I can't really think of them at the moment, you know.
No, it was Derby County that picked you up, wasn't it?
Well, funny enough, the scouts for Derby County is now chief scout at Liverpool. Jimmy Espinal, he actually lived on the estate, and he used to come over and watch us on the Sunday playing on the junior league, and he took me down to Derby County. But before that, I was at Tranmere as a schoolboy, 15, you know, and they offered me an apprenticeship forms. Jimmy, seeing me, took me down there quickly. Tommy Dock was the manager. Had a weekend down there, scored a few goals, and I signed for Derby.
When was it that you first realised that you were good enough to make a living out of football?
Well, I think it's hard. As I mentioned before, you know, it's your dream. You've been brought up, you know, you want to be a professional footballer. You play with your mates. They all want to be professional footballers at that time, you know, when we were playing. I think around about 14, 15, you know, when clubs were our manager used to always tell us that clubs were here to watch, you know, so give you an extra spring in your step. And then when I went to Tranmere, I was going twice a week and training over there for their junior team, under 15s. And it started to sink in, you know, I've got a chance here, and you've got to make the most of it. And then when Derby came, you know, as you say, you're over the moon as such, you know, and your parents are proud of you, and I signed apprentice.
Had you got any honours for Liverpool boys or anything like that?
No, I played for Highton Boys, which is, although they wouldn't like saying, the scallywags of the league. I mean,
didn't Alvin Martin play for them?
Peter Reid did.
Oh,
I know Peter Reid did. In fact, that was their year. They won the school championships. You know, Highton's a small area. Obviously, Liverpool's a big area, and then you got Kirby next door. You know, neighbours. And Liverpool boys used to be the sort of Charles Atlases with kits on, you know, do 14 and 15, and they used to be 6'3", you know, muscles on them, and they used to have all the Liverpool strip, you know, the Liverpool FC tracksuits and that, and they'd come out looking about 6'3". We had different coloured socks on, you know. I don't think Highton Council could afford the kit, you know, but we used to give them a game anyway, you know, as much as we could, you know, and I was quite proud to play for Highton Boys because it was an honour, you know, it was your area, you know, and there's 20 to 30 schools in that area, you know.
Were you big for your age then, or?
It's hard to say, really. It's been that long ago. Fairly big, you know. I wasn't tall now, no, but I would say quite a good build is the way I am now, you know.
Well, you went to Derby County, as we said, and it didn't quite come off for you there, did it? Not
really, no. It was the first time I'd been away from home, you know. I found it hard to settle in, and with a landlady and, you know, landlord who sort of told you what to do, and they were giving instructions by, they were very old-fashioned, they were giving instructions by the club, you know, you had to be in by a certain time, otherwise the doors get locked, you know, and it was ridiculous, really, you know. I think it would have made me feel a bit more at home. I think I could have settled in a bit better, but I never, and in the way it worked out, you know, after that, I was there 10 months. I just signed on young professional terms for Wigan.
Mm-hmm. And it was Wigan, of course, who gave you your big break.
Well, in the first season, you know, from sort of playing at youth team level at Derby County, almost in the same season, you know, I was playing professional football in the 4th division, and made my debut against Halifax.
April 1980, in fact. And
That's
it turned out to be a scoring debut.
Yeah, we won 3-1. I still remember the game. I had an old friend who played the Portsmouth with me playing, Mick Kennedy. He always remembers it and reminds me of it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, I was 17, you know, and I'm saying that if I would have been at Derby County, I don't think I would have been breaking through to the first team then. No. So it was good the way it worked out.
So how did the first goal come then, Mick? Was it a header or a shot, or?
No, I think it was a challenge on the keeper. It was 50-50, and the keeper bottled it as such, and I just more or less tapped it in, you know.
Right, well in 1982 you were given a free transfer, weren't you, and it was Stockport County that took you up.
Yeah, well, again with Wigan, you know, you know, made my debut, it's a good season, and then Larry Lloyd came in, we got promoted, but I got pushed out to the right. I wasn't playing up front, and in the same season they gave me a free transfer after I just signed a 4-year contract, which was ridiculous really, you know, but that was Larry Lloyd. And then Stockport came in, I went there on a free, you know, and again things took off.
How did you feel when you suddenly told you were being given a free transfer?
Well,
I mean, it's like your world exploding.
Oh, it was, because I was at home at Wigan. It was like home from home, you know, where there was amongst 7 Scousers in the team at the time, you know, really good friends, and I still see them now, you know, when I go home. And to be given a free, it was heartbreaking at the time, you know.
Well, 3 years later, of course, Oldham Athletics stepped in and paid big money for you.
Yeah, at the time, you know, it was a time when transfer fees, you had all the £1 million transfer fees, and then it went down, and it was, you know, more or less minimum fees, you know, they were going for, and Oldham paid £55,000 from Stockport, which to them was a lot of money, you know. And as I say, there was no big fees at that time, and Joe signed me on, and I went on from there.
I'd like to ask you what influence Joe Royal had on you, because he was a great centre forward, of course, in his own time.
Yes, a lot of the training was geared for strikers, you know, and which I enjoyed, and I think it was a big influence on my career. You know, I was very raw at the time, coming from Stockport. Although I did bang in a few goals for Stockport, there was a lot of raw edges to me, you know, and Joe sort of moulded me into the striker which he thought I could be.
Did he give you special attention at all?
Yeah,
special tips and so on.
He did certain things within training. You know, if I wasn't doing things right, he'd pull me aside, you know, and put me right and tell me how to make far post runs, you know, which he used to do. And I looked up to him in a way for that, you know.
Still does, in fact. He plays on a Friday.
Well, he used to play in training, and although he won't like this, he had the biggest backside I've seen ever, and he used to sort of just nudge it away with his backside. He used to go about 20 yards down the road. He used to be good at shielding the ball. But I mean, he still got his touch. You say you never lose, and he had a great touch, and he must have been a hell of a player.
Yeah. Happy time for you there, though, because 37 goals in 86 appearances isn't bad.
That's right. Well, all them teams, you know, we've talked about, was in the northwest, you know, except for the Derby, which didn't really settle in. You know, the Wigan, Stockport and Oldham were all in the northwest, so I lived in Liverpool while playing for all three teams, which suited me fine.
Mm. And then, of course, the big move down south to Portsmouth. That was what, in March 1986?
Yeah, I mean, it was a big step for me, really. Again, moving down south. Really how I'd settled, but Borley made me welcome when I went there. He was a northern lad. We had a lot of northern lads in the team. And the thing with Portsmouth, he had the club like a family, you know. Outsiders couldn't get in. He kept the players and the lads together. We all lived locally, you know, which helped to settle in quicker than, you know, a lot of other lads in other clubs would do, because you know, it's a hell of a lot of distance to travel from Liverpool to Portsmouth every week, so you've really got to make a go of it, you know.
Yeah. Was it a good career move for you?
I think it was at the time, yeah. They looked on the verge of getting promoted when I signed, and Big Joe actually said to Borley, you know, if I scored so many goals in so many games, we'd go up, and I think it was 6 goals in 11 games. I got that, but we just missed out. Wimbledon and Charlton went up, and that was disappointing, you know. And Portsmouth, prior to that, missed out on goal difference the year before, so you can imagine the fans' disappointment. But we pulled ourselves up from that, went on and got promoted the following year.
And of course, it was your goals that really clinched it.
Yeah, I had a good season then. I had 28 goals, and you know, really, it was important goals at a time. I mean, for instance, we were winning 1-0 away from home. You know, I was pinching a goal, and important goals like that, which got us up there. You know, our away form especially. You know, we weren't getting beat much. I think we only got beat 8 times, 9 times through the season, but we were pinching points away and nicking the odd goal, 1-0, you know, away from home, and I think that was the important factor.
Are there any particular goals that stick in your memory from that season?
I scored a goal against Oldham. I mean,
well, you seem to have been the thorn in Oldham's side ever since you left there.
That's right. I mean, Joe said he's going to tie me up one of these days, so I can't get to the ground. But it was we've been up there all season, never been out the first 2, and then as we sort of swung into the home straight last couple of weeks of the season, we just faltered a little bit, you know, which seems to be Portsmouth's downfall every season. It was important. Oldham were a couple of points behind us, and we were at home, and it was important we won, you know, and the pressure was on, and we were at home in front of our fans, and we come through that, and we won 3-1, and it gave me, although it wasn't a great goal, it gave me good satisfaction scoring against Joe and Oldham, and against Andy Gordon, who was a mate of mine down there. He used to pull my leg in training about not scoring against them, but I made sure I got that one in anyway.
Yeah, and that was just one of many that season, as we said.
As I say, 28 goals. I mean, I scored a couple, as I mentioned before, away from home, which were important, points-wise, you know, as I say, the old 1-0. But I enjoyed that season, and it was a great feeling to get promoted. For Portsmouth itself, it was 27 years since they were back in the first division, you know, and the whole town sort of went up.
But then things didn't go quite so well in the first division, did they?
No, I think it all stemmed from the chairman downwards at the time. You know, he'd pumped a hell of a lot of money into the club to get the club there, And once they were there, he sort of went the other way. He started, as you can say, drawing money out the club, you know, and he was selling players that got him promoted. And, you know, we never really had a settled team, you know, and then halfway through the season, he resigned, the chairman, and we had changes, you know, and I went on from there.
I was going to ask you, how you said that it was a great camaraderie there with Alan Ball. I mean, he doesn't seem to give you that impression from outside. There seemed to. I did quite a lot of the games from Portsmouth that season. There seemed to be quite a lot of conflict between the bench and the pitch.
Oh, I mean, you know, it's a bit like Jimmy, you know, the gaffer here. He lets off hot air all the time, you know, and sometimes, you know, it does seep through, but he just gets wound up because he wants to win. The same with Bawley. Bawley's a winner, you know. He'll get wound up, he'll come onto the pitch, he'll throw his cap down, or he'll throw his cap in the air, you know, and you know what's going on, but you just try and ignore it. You've got to concentrate on your game, you know. But you know, if you ignore him, he'll make sure you hear him. But no, it was. I mean, we all liked Bawley, you know, and all respected him. And I think that after time, there's a lot of hot air.
Well, you got 22 goals in that promotion campaign, and then you were leading goal scorer again in the first division with 18. So again, success from your point of view. Yeah,
but disappointing again, because I thought that season that we were in the first division, experience-wise, would have held us in good stead for the following season if we would have stayed up, because it was like a crest of wave. We were going to Liverpool, Everton, Man United. Okay, we were getting beat, but we were doing ourselves justice. But in our home games, you know, we were slipping up at home, and really that wasn't good enough to stay up, and that's how it showed. But there was conflict in the boardroom at the time, and it seeped through to the players, and players were getting sold who were important players at the time, you know, and as I say, we never had a settled team as such, and at the end of it, we just weren't good enough.
Crooks with a shot, and saved comfortably by Alan Knight. Quinn shoots, he scored! Oh, what a magnificent goal! Out of the blue. Picked up by Fillory. Fillory over the top, into the space. Can Mariner make it? Mariner has. Now it's gone through to... There's a shot from Quinn, it's a goal! 38 minutes gone. Mickey Quinn gets his second goal in 2 games, and his third goal of the season. Swain with the throw. Fillory, good turn. Quinn trying to make space for the shot, does so. Get in! A brilliant goal by Quinn. 59 minutes gone. A magnificent goal. It all started with a throw on the far side. The ball was played in. Quinn controlled it brilliantly. Turned his defender, made that little bit of space to get the shot in, and drilled it past Steve Hardwick to put Portsmouth 2-1 ahead. Beagrie found the space. Hilaire through to Horn. Horn, a beautiful ball over the top, and there's 2 Portsmouth players there, Dillon and Hilaire. Hilaire peels off, Dillon knocks it to him. Can he get the shot in? There's the cross, and a brilliant goal from Quinn! What a goal from Quinn! The sun causing some problems. Good header there from Sanford. Fine ball that from Dillon, out to Hilaire. Whitehead in support. Hilaire's got the ability to get... Oh, and that ball just bobbled as he went to kick it. Dillon trying to make something out of it. Gets it to Fillory. Fillory knocks it in. Oh, and it's a goal! A brilliant touch there by Mick Quinn. Mickey Quinn scores his 8th goal of the season, and what a fine effort. Yes,
So Bradford, who proved difficult opponents in the second division last season, doing so again today. Now Connor trying to get away from them. Barry Horn in support, and here's Quinn too. Quinn on the right foot. Oh, it's got in! Mick Quinn, delighted. The goalkeeper, Paul Tomlinson, will be extremely disappointed.
So then 12 months ago you moved north again to Newcastle. When did you first get the inkling that Newcastle United were interested in you?
Well, it was coming to the end of my contract at Portsmouth, you know. We didn't have a very good season there. Bowley got the sack that season, and you know, the signs were out that clubs were interested. You know, there was a hell of a lot of first division clubs at the time coming to the games and that, you know. The manager, John Gregory, used to tell me who was at the games and whatever. So that's when, you know, I started to think, well, it looks like a time for a move, you know. Mm. But Newcastle came out the blue in the summer. I was at home and I got a phone call from Kevin Dillon, who was my mate at Portsmouth, you know. And he said Jim Smith was interested in Newcastle and would have fancied it. So I said they were a big club, you know, and they looked like going up. So, although a couple of foreign clubs came in for me, Watford as well, there was only really one club, Newcastle.
You weren't interested in going abroad?
Not really, no. There was a Belgian club that came in for me, Mechelen. Now, I still don't know whether it was the Mechelen who finished third or the Mechelen that got relegated. So, I don't know. Actually, a Turkish club came in for me, but yeah, there was only one team really to weigh them up against, you know, and it was Newcastle.
And what a start. 4 goals on your debut against Leeds United.
Yeah, it's funny really, because I don't think I actually had a good game. You know, the 4 chances came along and I put them in the back of the net, you know. As I say, it was a funny game really, because, you know, we went 1-0 up and I thought we're going to take off here, you know, we looked comfortable, but Leeds come back into it and actually went ahead. And then to come back from that and beat them 5-2, you know, it was dream stuff really.
The first one, of course, was a penalty, but which was the pick for you of the other 3?
I think the final one really. I mean, it was the old 1-2 from Portsmouth really. Kevin Dillon put me through on the halfway line, and it was a 1-on-1 with the keeper. And as I say, I just put it past Mervyn Day, and it was actually on the cake for me on the day to score 4. The first time I'd scored 4 in a game, and on your debut it makes it even better.
Could be a penalty. The trip from Jim Beglin, and referee Midgley points to the spot. St James's Park erupts in excitement. 18th minute of the game then, and this long ball. Just on the edge, or just inside the box that. A penalty then. And it's Mick Quinn who's going to take it. Mick Quinn on his debut and he scores! Tucked it nicely in the corner. Quinn's there. Oh, Quinn scored! The big number 9. Darted in between everybody. Quinn's there with a shot. Oh, it's in! Day got a hand to it. Quinn! He's notched his hat-trick. Well, what delight for Mick Quinn. Newcastle really playing well. Quinn racing through. Quinn shoots. He scored! Oh, my word! It's that man Quinn again. And that is his 150th league goal. Long ball catching Leeds United square. Quinn sets off. 30-yard dash this. Well under control as Day comes out. He slots it past him. His 4th goal of the match.
Well, a record start, and of course that endeared you to the Newcastle fans as well.
Yes, it's important you get off to a good start, you know, at any club, and just score on your debut. But to score 4, I mean, I couldn't believe it myself at the end of the day, you know.
And just to show that it was no flash in the pan, you then recorded goals in the next 4 games as well.
Yes, it was nice. At the time, I didn't realise when I was getting to the 5th game, the manager was telling me that if I would have scored against Oxford, it would have been a record goal. You know, no player on making the debut had scored in all 5 games from his debut. I mean, when you think of the players that they've had here, the McDonalds, the Milburns, Keegans, and various players, you know, Hughie Gallagher's, and that it's a nice thing to have and to keep on to, you know.
Well, I mean, the fans here probably appreciate centre forwards more than any fans anywhere in the world.
Yes, you know, it's unbelievable up here. It's nice to get recognised for scoring goals, but up here you get worship for it, you know, and it's nice.
And of course, that sequence of 5 games included 2 more against Oldham, didn't it?
Yes, funny enough, you know, I don't know what it is. I mean, everyone likes scoring against their old clubs, but Oldham coming for a bit of stick personally from me. But as I say, I've seen Joe and he takes it in good stride. He wouldn't want anything else really, apart from 3 points.
Coming off his man well and screening the ball, so but it's Roger Palmer who gets the ball away for Oldham. Bunn. Warhoust under pressure there from Quinn, and Quinn shoots. Oh, what a goal! A fantastic shot there from Quinn. The Oldham defence got themselves in a tangle. Post. Quinn with the header, appeals for handball, and it's been given a penalty. The man penalised Paul Warhurst. Quinn going up here, you can see the hand up, and it was the unfortunate Warhurst, of course, who made that slip earlier in the game, in the 43rd minute, when this man, Mick Quinn, seized on the opportunity to ram in the first goal. So can he notch a second one here from the penalty spot? Yes, he can. Oh, Andrew Rhodes got his hands to it.
Mick Quinn, who joined Newcastle from Portsmouth, gave the visitors a 4th-minute lead. Quinn's 8th goal of the season.
And ironically, against Portsmouth, you didn't find the net.
No, in fact, Alan Knight, who was the goalkeeper from Portsmouth, when I played for Oldham against Portsmouth in the 2nd division, he pulled off hell of a saves against me, and I thought, he's a bit of a bogeyman to me, you know, home and away, you know, and then playing against him in training, the same, you know. I could hardly score against him, and up here he pulled off a world-class save for me. I turned the edge of the box, hit it, and somehow he's got his fingertips just under the bar. And after that I thought, oh, I'm never going to score today, mate. You know, it was just one of them days.
Are you one that gets things like this in your mind and gets blockages? I mean, sort of superstitions and...
Not a lot, no. I mean, that's crossed my mind, that was all, you know. You just try hard and hard, and in fact, I did score against them down at Pompey, you know.
Fratton Park.
Yeah, when we drew 1-1. So, it just crossed my mind, that was all.
Well, you scored again against Watford, of course, and then a hat-trick against Brighton. Yes,
the hat-trick at Brighton gave me nice satisfaction as well to score another 3, you know, after going a long time from the first game of the season. You know, I hit a couple of 2s on the way, and it was nice to get 3 again, just to set me on a way, and I think it was midway through the season as well, you know, which was nice to step it up.
Well, it was October time.
Was it October?
Yeah, October, yeah. So, I mean, your prolific start to the season. I mean, did you ever think, crikey, what's going to happen? Are they going to try up?
Yeah, funny enough, no, I never think the goals are going to dry up. I always look forward to, as you say, the old cliche, your next goal, your next game, you know. I never think that way. I think if you do start thinking that way, then obviously it does cross your mind, and you start missing easy chances and that, you know, and things go on from there. Some strikers do go through lean times, and I'm no doubt that it will happen. You know, it has happened in the past. You know, but I tend not to think about it. I just think positive about scoring.
Brock. Beautiful play by McGee. Brock going through him. Oh, it's there! Inevitably, Mick Quinn. It's past there, past David May. Chance here though for McGee. Oh, and a good one-handed save. It's there, off Quinn. Mark Atkins was rather lazy in that clearance, and Quinn was storming in behind him on the blind side. How about that? A beautiful ball in from Dillon there, headed away by Bissett. Dillon again. And there's the first of his hat-trick, scored in the 25th minute. O'Brien, played through by Dillon. Chip in there, the header from Brazil, and Quinn notches his second goal of the match. And here's Quinn again. So easy, isn't it? 85 minutes gone. Mick Quinn 3, Brighton 0. Ball played into space. Quinn racing through, beautifully chipped over the advancing goalkeeper.
Well, Mick, we move into November, and there's a vast crowd here at St James's Park. The visitors are Sheffield United. This is a really big game, and of course, you scored again.
Yeah, it was important at the time. Sheffield were above us in the league, and it was important that we beat them to close the gap on them. The atmosphere was great out here. You know, the lads were singing away, and we were all wound up for that game. Really, it was a clash of styles as well. You know, we were the footballing team, they were the up and under merchants, and I think we just footballed them to death on that day. I thought we outclassed them, and really, on the day, we were comfortable 2-0 winners. It could have been 4 or 5 on the day, and we were all thinking, well, you know, clapping our hands, here we go, we're going to go up. I mean, they look very ordinary here, but to be fair to Sheffield United, they plugged away, you know, and in the end they got promoted, which really surprised us, but, you know, hats off to them. They stuck at it and they got promoted.
Well, then, of course, you were out again against your favourite club, Oldham Athletic, and put another 2 past them in the Zenith Cup.
Yeah, that was, I mean, the Zenith Trophy it's hard to get wound up for that, you know, but we're all professionals and you've got to go out and do a job. And with it being Oldham again, it was nice to pop another couple in and knock them out as such. I mean, at the end of the game, I heard Joe shouting from the touchline, "Don't kick anyone, will you?" Because they had so many games, you know, to catch up on cup runs and various things. He was just worried about, I think, his players at the end of the day. He wasn't worried about the Zenith Trophy as such.
Well, there was another Mick Quinn brace against Leicester City. Now, that was some game, wasn't it? 5-4 it finished. Weird
again, you know. We had a hell of a lot of games like that last season. It was Roy's debut, you know, and I think Roy must have wondered what hit him on the day, you know, 5-4. Remember the goals, I think. One was a flick on by Mark, and I headed it in. And I can't remember the other one at the time. I think just two tap-ins they were at the time, and really the game swung from one way to the other, and in the end I think we were getting beat. Was it 3-2, 4-2?
Yeah, I think it was 4-2.
4-2 at the time.
15 minutes to go or something.
That's right. And I remember scoring the 4th, the equaliser, and then Mark hit a great goal for the finish, and which just set the crowd alight and the fans wild. I mean, I think that was a good sign for us to come back from 4-2 down to win 5-4. Was you know, good for the team and morale at the time, you know, because I think we would have got beat that game, you know. I think we would have been in a little slump.
well to get the touch, but it's there! Number 2! Mick Quinn, the scorer. O'Brien to Dillon. Football this from Newcastle. John Gallagher now. Can he get the cross in? He can. Quinn's there. Oh, and Quinn scores! Well, he really does love playing against his old club, doesn't he? Faraday's cross. Quinn's going in. Oh, Quinn's forcing in past the goalkeeper. Well, that's surely sealed it for Newcastle United. Just with the header, hooked on by Lewis. Oh, Quinn goes down, and the referee, what's he given? He's given a penalty. Here's again the ball, not into the penalty box. Up goes Quinn. He's clattered before he can make contact by Leslie Phillips, and the referee, a little bit of hesitation, and then he pointed to the spot. And so it's Quinn who's going to take the kick himself. So Mick Quinn against Paul Key. Oh, and again Key got his hands to the ball, but couldn't prevent it going in the net. Off the head of Ramsey. Chance here for Quinn, oh, and he takes it! He hit that with some venom. So Brock with the corner. Quinn's on the line. He's flicked it in! Went straight in off Quinn, I'm sure. He's claiming it, his second goal of the match.
Well, then it was into the FA Cup. 4th round, you missed the 3rd round tie, didn't you? You didn't play in that.
No.
You played in the 4th round tie against Reading at Reading, and they put up quite a fight, in fact, to hold you 3-3.
Yes, again, funny game. You know, really, it was our back passes that set them up for the result. You know, I scored a header in the first half, 1-0, and I thought, well, here we go. You know, I think we can win this quite comfortably. You know, we were playing good stuff first 20 minutes. I scored the goal, made the breakthrough, but then they scored through a great shot from I think it was the right back, and then we went on. I think Mark scored again after that. We went 2-1 up, and then my back pass just before half time, I think I had a brain hemorrhage or something. You know, I was deep in my own half, and I just passed it back, and Senior scored. Lucky enough, Mark scored again second half, but then John Gallagher had the same brainstorm as me, and made a pass back with a couple of minutes to go, and suicide really, you know. But we come up for that, and we beat them comfortably up here.
That's it, 4-1 in the return game.
In the return game, yeah.
And you were on target again.
Yeah, I enjoyed that goal as well, you know. I remember the ball get played up to me, twisted, turned, 2 defenders and poked it in. It was a nice goal.
And the next round against Manchester United, no luck for you at all, but
No.
you came back again with your strike rate, with 2 more against Bournemouth and then 2 against Ipswich. The second one being your 30th goal of the season.
That gave me great satisfaction to score 30 in the season. I hit 28 with Portsmouth, as you said before, and to score 30, you know, strikers look around the 20 mark, you know, and the 30 mark then. To score 30 gave me great satisfaction, especially for the first time, and especially at Newcastle.
When you got to 28, I mean, you scored the 29th or the 30th in this game. When you got to 28, was it preying on your mind at all?
Well, I think when I reached the 28, I think I went a couple of games without scoring, you know. It did cross my mind, but you look at my record through the season, I never went more than 2-3 games without scoring, you know. So I knew it was due a goal, the sort of 3rd game coming up, and lucky enough 2 of them went in, and I hit the 30. As I say, it gave me great satisfaction.
Done most to keep them at bay, but one feels that another goal might kill off this tie as far as Newcastle are concerned. It's a chance here for Quinn, perhaps inside the box. Quinn does well, and that's the goal, and that has probably killed off the tie as far as Newcastle and as far as Reading is concerned. Mick Quinn, a marvellous turn in the box. Didn't seem anything on with this high ball on the edge of the penalty area, knocked down there by the Newcastle substitute Darren Bradshaw. And there's Quinn, and he does the rest, and it's Newcastle 3, Reading 0. Brock to take it. Up goes Bradshaw, and this is Kevin Dillon on the edge of the Bournemouth area. Tries to find McGee. There's Quinn, he does well. Oh, it's a good save by Joe Payton, and Quinn might have done better there, and it's Teal getting away for a corner. And more post-mortems in that Bournemouth defence. Now again, it's a good forward header there by McGee. Finds Quinn, who may look to shade offside there, but there was no flag. Joe Payton saves with his leg, and Quinn trying a snapshot on the turn. Gets the ball away, and here's Quinn again, and that's number 2 for Newcastle. The corner not got away there by the Bournemouth defence. Brock with it. Ball goes on the far side, and that's number 3 for Newcastle, and it's that man Quinn again with the goal.
Aitken hoisting that one forward. Brought down by Linnigan. Trying to rouse Newcastle United. There's Quinn, he must score, he does score! That's it, 1-1. Aitken with a throw. This is Brock. That's a good chip. Quinn with it all! Yes! Beautifully timed run that by Mick Quinn. 2-0, that's surely it.
Well, rattled off consecutive strikes against Brighton, Plymouth, Port Vale and West Bromwich Albion after that. And then the last goal of yours the season was the winner against West Ham United. Now that too was a very, very important game.
It was. I mean, West Ham made it very hard for us up here, you know, as I said, it was an important game for us to win, to stay in the promotion race. And things never went too well for us at the time. You know, they scored a penalty first half, and they were valued for that penalty at the time. But we picked ourselves up from that. I think Benny scored second half to equalise, and then it was on a knife edge. We always thought we would come back from that, and we kept plugging away, and the goal really set everybody off. And again, it was a great 3 points, much needed at the time to stay in touch.
All Newcastle will get. There's a throw-in. And here's McGee again. Crosses the ball inside. Here's Quinn. Oh, and that's another goal for Newcastle. That's definitely made sure. Quinn flies away. Salutes the crowd. And as Mr. Breen pops a notebook back into the top pocket, we've got the ball from Ransom. There's Mick Quinn, and it's a goal for Newcastle out of nothing, and Mick Quinn equalises things up at 1 apiece.
Over half an hour gone then, and they're still trailing by 1-0. Free kick here to Newcastle. Kevin Brock putting the ball down, floats it in. Quinn's coming round the back. He's got round the back of Berry, and that's a goal. Beautifully timed run again by Mick Quinn. Christensen, good play by him. Capped 40 times by Denmark at various levels. Out to O'Brien, and Newcastle beginning to buzz. Mick Quinn now turns, times for the shot, blocked by Foster. Quinn with a goal! A tremendous shot by Quinn. He powered his way through. "56 minutes, and Mick Quinn slams in his 36th goal of the season.
Now, of course, you got a good combination going with Mark. Is this the best duo that you've ever played in?
Yes, I've been lucky enough to play with quite a few good partnerships, experienced partnerships, like Paul Madden and Mickey Shannon, various players like that, all internationals. Mark is amongst them. I think it's the most prolific partnership that I've always been sort of the main scoring partner in a partnership, but this season Mark's duoed with me, and we've been up there amongst the best in the country.
What is it that makes a partnership like this work? I mean, it's something that you can't really define, isn't it?
Well, when we signed the first day together, which helped because we met each other straight away. We stayed in the same hotel. I think it was the New Kent in Jesmond together. And we settled in together, and we were instant friends from there. And we live a hair's breadth away from each other, as do some of the other lads, and I think it helps to mould into a partnership. As I say, to score 61 goals in your first season between the two of you is a hell of a record, and which proved the best in the country.
There's a sort of telepathy between two players, isn't it? And you're different styles.
Yeah.
So how do you know what he's going to do, etc.?
Well,
it's all instinct.
Sometimes you don't, and vice versa. No, I think the thing is, there's an understanding. You talk Mark's experience, you talk through the game, as I do myself. Help each other along. And if I'm going through a bad period, Mark will help me, or vice versa. Which is good understanding between the two of us, and I think that's helped us get through rocky periods through a season. If one's not doing it, the other one was, and that's the way it went right through the season. And we sort of pulled each other along and helped each other along all through the season.
Mickey, you a worrier at all, or not?
A worrier?
Does pressure get to you at all?
Not really. The thing is, when I come to Newcastle, obviously it was a bigger club, but knowing that it was in the second division didn't give me any problems. You look at my record, I've scored season in, season out in this second division, 20 plus a season. So it didn't worry me one bit to come to Newcastle, because I know I'd score goals. It was just proving to this Newcastle fans that I could. And I think I've more than done that.
Now, I know the other big sporting event in your life is horse racing.
That's right, yeah. That's right. I've had a couple of donkeys, yeah, that I've participated in. One was a horse called Town Patrol. I think it was from the Isle of Man. I think it had 3 legs. And the other one, in fact, I'm doing quite well with. A horse trained by Mike Shannon, who we used to play at Portsmouth with. He rang me up one day and he just said, "I've got a horse here, Quinny. Do you want a leg in it?" So I said, "Okay." So I have a quarter partnership in it, and in fact he's won twice, and I've won a few bob with him. I've had a bit of fun with him over the summer. It's kept me morale up after the disappointment of not going up. And of course I've got a pal who's a jockey, Neil Doughty. Great riding, and with living in Hexham, I get up there to see him as much as I can, and he comes down through the summer, and I enjoy watching him. It's a nice way to relax, I think. As you talked about pressures of football, it's nice to get away from things, and as I say, to see Neil ride and just enjoy myself on a relaxing day out.
When your playing days are finished, will your aspirations go towards horse racing or towards football?
It's hard to tell, really. I think by the time I reach 35, I don't know whether I'll have had enough of football by then. As I say, I've been in the game since I was 16. I don't know whether I might even be more hungry to stay in the game. I don't know. But I would like to maybe breed horses. I don't think I'd like to get into the trainer side. I see Mickey. You talk about worry. He's the biggest worry I've ever seen. I think he's going grey and everything. He's limping as well, so it's not too clever. I think I'll leave the trainer side.
Shooting.
No, I'd like to have a bit of fun breeding, maybe. And have a bit of fun doing that. But as I say, if I am hungry enough, maybe I'd like to become a manager one day.
But in the meantime, your immediate target obviously is to shoot Newcastle to the first division.
Get Newcastle in Division 1 where they belong, really. We know we've got the support here. We knew we were unlucky last season to finish 3rd and just miss out on the last game, really. That's what it boiled down to. There was all sorts of permutations. If Sheffield would have lost or drew, or Leeds would have lost or drew, we would have won. We would have gone up, and that's how close we came to the last game. The playoffs were a lottery. But you've got to get on with that, and we've got to pick ourselves up now and get Newcastle into Division 1 where they belong, as I say. And you'll end up here also the rest of your life if you get them in the first division.